Hey everybody, welcome back to Cookie Gaming. Today we're playing some more Pentiment. Now last time we began this game, which is set in 1500s Bavaria. Pretty exciting stuff for a history guy like myself, and a lot of you seem to enjoy it as well. Today we will be continuing. I have to say at the outset, I've been sick for the last couple of days, so if my voice sounds different, please excuse me, and I might have to cut the video to blow my nose or cough up a lung, so please excuse any of that. Anyway, we started to build our character last time. Uh, Here we have Andreas Mahler. We got to choose some of his background. We studied in Italy. We're a bookworm, a theologist, a Latinist, and an orator. Pretty interesting character we've built. I basically just went through what seemed interesting to me. We have a couple of quests laid out here. The main thing is we need to try and make a bit of money so we can pay our landlords early, because they need to pay their taxes, I suppose. But we're also learned that we're working here in the Abbey, in the scriptorium, and we're doing some work. We've also got our masterpiece we're working on. So let's first check out the shrine here. Oh, interesting. So I know we're supposed to be going to the, the Abbey to get to work, but I'm curious to see what's happening in here. Brother Matthew maintains this shrine along with some of the sisters who paint badges for pilgrims. A reliquary containing the hand of Saint Moritz, which is said to have once held the Holy Lance. Oh. Here, let me click on that. I just realized I'm gonna have to talk or read text this whole video. Like I said, I just came off being sick, or I still am sick, frankly. So excuse me, my voice is a little weak. I'll try my best for you guys. Holy Lance, also called the Spear of Destiny or the Lance of Longinus. It is the lance that pierced Jesus' side on the cross. Many legends surround the lance, and several places claim to possess it. I mean, this is classic with these sort of Christian, Catholic in particular, relics. A lot of different places have a lot of these relics, or at least claim to have parts of these relics. Of course, they're not always substantiated, but a lot of churches and abbeys have quite sizable collections. We got a couple of sisters here. Let's talk to Margaret first. God bless you, Brother Piero. No, wait, it's Master Mahler. I thought you couldn't see, Sister Margaret. During the day, I can see some colors. Okay, so sounds like she is mostly blind, or perhaps functionally blind. How did you know it was me? You and Brother Piero both smell of the pigments you use. Ah. But you're taller, and you have another smell to you, like fish or burned almonds. I'm also much more handsome. I'm not sure if that makes a difference to her. Oh, that's old linseed oil, popular among the Italians, but Brother Piero doesn't use it. I'll ask Sister Gertrude about it. How are Sister Gertrude's herbs coming? It's too early to tell. Most of them won't be grown until May. Still, working with herbs suits me. Have a good day, Sister Margaret. God bless you, Master Mahler. Okay, very pleasant. Here, we've got our encyclopedia of characters here. I think we read through most of the ones we saw last time, maybe not. Johannes Bauer. I need to, re-familiarize myself with all the characters here. It's been a bit since we last played. Margaret, assistant herbalist of Kearsarge Abbey, works with Sister Gertrude, mostly blind from a failed cataract surgery. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Let's see. Lisbeth? God bless you too. Gertrude? God bless you, Master Mahler. How goes your work in the scriptorium? Very well, thank you. Oh, then I guess you wouldn't be interested in the saffron Agnes Dynauren received yesterday? Okay. What? Saffron. Really? Where'd you hear that? Mr. Matilda saw her at the Albans. Get to read about all these people, I'm sure. Maybe you can convince Prior Ferenc to get some for your yellows. Oh, interesting, for pigment. Good to know. How's Mossfanger? She's around here somewhere. Hopefully getting to the baby rabbits before Sister Matilda does. Until later, Sister Gertrude. Bless you, Andreas. Maybe I'll see you by the shrine of Saint Satya? One of Tossing's patron saints, Satya, was a local pagan who converted to Christianity and miraculously aided St. Maritz's soldiers with food in the dead of winter. She was martyred for her actions. Okay. Yeah, so saffron. I mean, saffron's pretty rare today, you know what I mean? Getting good saffron. But back then, especially, saffron was even more rare. I mean, you can think about the sort of trade routes spices had to take. You know, spices, all these different types of things had to take to reach Europe at this time. Now, of course, we are post-1492, right? The age of exploration has begun, but we are still in the early stages of that age of exploration. We're in sort of the early modern period. You know, we're at the end of the Middle Ages, you could say. So, you know, this is a whole era where all of these goods from the East, they had to travel, you know, down the Silk Road, through the Middle East, probably through Constantinople, perhaps through the Mediterranean, all the way to reach these places in Europe, especially in these little German states, right? Now, once again, we are viewing a period in this game where that type of thing is changing, but something like saffron would be very rare and valuable. For different reasons. I guess for us, it would be for yellow pigment is the suggestion. Let's go into the church. I gotta stay hydrated, especially today. You know, like I said, my voice is weak. Rudiger. God bless you, Andreas. Has your voice yet recovered from Easter Mass, Rudiger? Hey, same as me. Oh, yes. It was a bit of a strain, but a worthy sacrifice. Well, if the Lord could give us his all on Easter. Exactly. Have a good day in the scriptorium. Have a good day singing. Let's see. Rudiger, a cantor for the monks of Kearsarge Abbey, known for his fine singing voice. Lisbeth, Dutch oblet, assistant to Mother Cecilia. Okay. Agnes, midwife of Tossing, wife of Lucky. She has one daughter, Brigitta Bowren, wife of Martin. Guys, you can't judge my pronunciation. I'm doing the best I can. Gertrude, herbalist of Kearsarge Abbey. She's known for her friendly personality and her cat, Mossfanger. I wonder if what does Mossfanger mean? Does it have any particular translation in English? Interesting. Okay. Huh. Hey, there he goes. Wow. I gotta say, the art and vibe of this game is very cool. I think I said that plenty last time, but it's worth saying again, you know what I mean? Oh, Matthew. Oh, we have to talk to him, I believe. Wow, he is, it's pretty short. God bless you, Andreas. How's the sacristy today, Matthew? Same as yesterday. Does my vocation seem silly to you, Master Mahler? Oh, interesting. We can use our background as a theologist, a theologian, to pick one of these answers. Let's do it. No, absolutely not, Matthew. Even though I did not complete my theological studies, I understand the importance of the sacrist. Well, your understanding is appreciated. The treasures of the Abbey remain secure. Thank you for your inquiry. Right, he's taking care of all of those, and I believe he also handles dispensation of the cash, which is why we need to talk to him. God be with you. Ah, yes. See, this is why you gotta be nice to him. One more thing. I have a favor to ask of you. Yes, Andreas? Give me my pay. No. I was hoping you could give me my pay for the latest manuscript early. This isn't part of the agreement you made with Father Gurnot. You'll be paid on the completion of each additional manuscript you illuminate, not before. I don't think either of these are a super convincing argument. Can't you make an exception this once? Not without good reason. This Abbey runs through mutual agreements, not haphazard payments. Breaking such contracts could cause undue trouble, not only for Kearsaw, but for Tossing as well. Is that why Father Abbot has increased taxes on the Gertners? What is this about, Andreas? No need to lie. Oh, interesting. It's sort of the same response, except you can put it more on them or on me. Well, I'm just gonna be honest, which is, frankly, I don't really want to pay my rent money early, but the Gertners have asked me for their rent early so they can pay their taxes to the Abbey. I would not have expected Peter Gertner, of all people, to beg a lodger for help. Well, I believe it was Peter's wife who asked. His wife asked. That must have been difficult for her. Yeah, come on, Matthew, so help me out. Uh-huh. I'm sorry, Andreas. Come on. If you seek to remedy the Gertner situation, plead your case to Father Gurnot. The matter is pressing, Brother Matthew. In the name of Christian charity, isn't there anything you can do? Come on. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. So what? Oh, wow. So we've got like a persuasion check here. And I'm not quite sure what this is showing, but I guess I've got additional bonuses because I respected the sacristan and I admitted that Clara asked for help. Interesting. This is the money I'd be paid eventually, and it would be a great relief to the Gertners. Yes! Nice! Very well. Do not ask this of me again, Andreas. Can't believe that worked. Here you are. I shall note this with Father Gurno and Prior Ferenc. Thank you, Brother Matthew. Huh. God bless you, Andreas. Well, there you go. It worked. Nice. No need to surprise. I'll give it to her directly. Alrighty. Well, how about that? Can't believe that actually worked. Okay, so, I'm seeing how this game works. You know what I mean? The choices you make, they influence how things are gonna go, which, that's how any good RPG should work. So that's good. Okay. Where the hell is the scriptorium? We gotta go through the Old Bailey. And there's so much stuff to explore, though. I know I probably should go straight to the scriptorium, but, guys, I'm curious. I want to see the rest of the church. Or the Abbey, I should say. Yeah, who are you? Sebhat or Sebat? God give you health, Master Mahler. Brother Sebat, I'm surprised to see you're still here. As am I, but I will be leaving soon, returning to Rome. I and my bishop regret that we could not reciprocate Father Rudolph's generosity earlier. He showed much kindness to our priests at the Council of Constance many, many years ago. Meeting of bishops that took place between 1414 and 1418 in the Diocese of Constance to end the Papal Schism. It was also notable for the condemnation and capture of the Bohemian theologian John Huss. That is interesting. I got a couple of things to say about that. Excuse me. One, about the sort of schism. Well, the schism is very interesting generally. Actually, what's more interesting about this is Jan Hus. Now Hus was a leader. It's almost a sort of, some people have called it a sort of proto-Protestantism, or Protestantism before Protestantism. That might be sort of looking forward to the future a little bit. What it is was this religious reform rebellion in some ways, centered around this character Jan Hus, the Hussites, right? All this type of stuff. This fascinating sort of religious rebellion in Eastern Europe that really did have knock-on effects for the future. I'm not an expert on Jan Hus or the Hussites or any of that, but it is really interesting stuff. Fascinating. Though, I can't say I was familiar with the Council of Constance in particular. Will you remain in Rome? That is up to my bishop, but I will miss these mountains in any case. You should travel to Ethiopia, Master Mahler, and see the highlands. I wonder if he's from Ethiopia then, or somewhere else out east. But we talked about Ethiopia last time, because in our, dream, our mind palace is the court of Prester John, right? Who was this fictional Christian king who the Europeans first tried to find in India and then throughout the east, and eventually landed on Ethiopia. They thought they'd find this fictional Christian king out there. Now, Prester John himself wasn't real, but what is true is that Ethiopia was a Christian kingdom at this point, surrounded by Muslim territory. So it was sort of unique in that respect. And so there was this connection between Ethiopia and other Christian states in Europe, for example. My home, yeah, he's from Ethiopia. God has blessed my home with wondrous beauty, and we can see here, I'm not sure how common missionaries or travelers or pilgrims from Ethiopia to Europe would have been. I am not an expert on the topic, but I know there were religious links, and so here we have Subat, who has come from Ethiopia. Though I think it might have been called, they might have used the word Abyssinia at that time. Maybe not. I would love to, someday. I still need to return to Nuremberg and open my workshop. Yes, someday. Until then, if you're ever in Rome, I may still be around. Hey, it's from my Italian background. I've only made it as far south as Florence, but I'd like to see Rome. Yeah, so we spent some time studying in Italy, and it makes sense that, you know, not that I'd call Rome like southern Italy, but I guess it's sort of central Italy. I don't know what the different, what Italians would refer to as the different sections of Italy. But a lot of the wealth and prosperity was really centered in northern Italy at that time. And really today, in many ways, there's still an existing split in the modern era. So it makes sense that Andreas, especially in this era of Renaissance and art and architecture, would have spent more time up north in some of these more northern cities and states. By the way, if you have some time in the next few days, it'd be nice to share a meal with you and some of the townsfolk. The townsfolk? I'm accustomed to strange looks, I'm sure you are, especially in rural places like these, but I've had kind words with the baker and his wife. Oh yes, the Albans, Ulrich and Gret. Ulrich, okay, looks a little imposing, and Gret, who looks kindly. I offer to tell a story to the children and their mothers over a meal someday. Gret seemed excited about the idea, but I'd be more comfortable if you were there as well. I can make time. Thank you, Andreas. I look forward to it. God give you health. And this is an interesting opportunity to talk about ideas of race in medieval Europe. And I sort of put race in quotes here because what I think a lot of people don't realize, and oh my god, there's so much to explore. Am I using time when I do all of this? I hope not. But a lot of our modern ideas of race, or ideas of race being biological, that sort of thing, were really developed in this era moving forward. The 15, 16, 17, 1800s. A lot of our more modern ideas of race were created, especially in relation to the conquest of the New World and the importation of African slaves. At this time, they did not have a modern idea of race that we do today. Now, obviously, people can see that someone's skin color is different, so they could tell that, Sebat over there, was not from the area, but probably what he would have encountered, he said he encountered strange looks, it probably would have been more curiosity rather than downright racist hostility that would become more the norm in the following centuries, right? So this is almost an era where, of course, people have ideas of difference and ideas of people from different places. I'm not denying that. But these entrenched ideas of biological race, those had not really been created or really imbibed by the vast majority of people. So race would have been viewed quite a bit differently than it even is today in many ways. So interesting stuff. Now, let me take a look at the map here. I think this might be a sort of exploratory episode in many ways. Let's go from left to right, since we read English here. If we were Arabic, we'd go right to left. Well, I think that might bring us back outside now. Yes, it will. Okay, let's check out the infirmary first. Whoa. Saint Luke, patron of artists, is also the patron of healers. Oh, interesting. Huh. So we share a patron then, Florian. God bless you, Andreas. Brother Florian, how are you? The brothers and sisters are well, and so I am well, thank God. Andreas, have you spoken to Klaus Drucker lately? Oh. Yes, quite recently. Why? I believe he may be receiving a medical text from Bologna? Uh-oh. One of the largest cities in Italy, it's been a center of the arts for centuries. It houses a well-known university, which was home to both Dante and Petrarch. I believe we talked about Petrarch last time. And Dante's worth mentioning because something we might get a chance to talk about later is when we looked at our Mind Palace last time. We had a couple of characters in there. Some of them I recognized, some of them I didn't. Two I didn't know were Grobian and Beatrice. Now, you in the comments have so kindly informed me that Grobian was the fictional saint of vulgarity, and Beatrice, someone mentioned, I did a bit of Googling. Apparently, she was a real woman who Dante wrote a lot of his work sort of in tribute to, right? Like the Divine Comedy, for example. And also she sort of features, right? So that's, so Beatrice, part real, part sort of fictional character. So that, you know, seeing Dante there made me think back to her. Bologna? Sorry, I don't, I really should know this. See, it's one of those things where, you know, I do a fair amount of reading, and many times I will read names of historical people, or places, or cities, or whatever, but never actually hear them spoken, so I'm not quite sure how to pronounce things I might have read, like, 50 times before. I think I'm asking, do you speak, or, no, so, I don't know. Do you speak Italian? Can you read Italian? Okay. Ah, no. Little Italian, and my Latin is not as good as I would like. Well, apparently, based on my background, Andreas both knows Italian and Latin. He's in fact a quite researched Latinist. I was hoping Brother Piero could help me with it if he has the time. I'm sure he'll make time. He's a patient teacher. That he is. I'll see you later, Andreas. Until then. Most of these medicines were made by Agnes Steinauren, with some help from Sister Gertrude, who we met just a bit ago. Yep. Our little shrine here in the corner. So, I mean, we can see here in the Abbey, and we'll see more of this as we go, but of course, well, I was gonna say it's not just religious work being done, but that might not be quite accurate, in that all the work done here they would see as religious, right? But there is more than what we would think of as religious work being done. There's all kinds of different work being done here at the Abbey. All of it is, in some way, religious in nature, just because of how religious the worldview was at this point. But there's a lot of different jobs being done, which can be helpful to the community, sometimes not. Depending on the Abbey, there could be a better relationship with the local community, or a worse relationship. And I think what we're seeing here, I remember last time, the last father of the Abbey had a good relationship with the local community. Seems like Gernot is having a bit of a worse relationship, so we might actually get to explore that through the game here. Chapter House. Look at the art on the wall over here, my goodness. A Dance of Death mural. Father Matthias had painted it a few years before his death. Dance of Death, an artistic allegory on the constancy of death. Illustrations often feature people from every station of society to communicate that death inevitably claims everyone, from the peasant to the emperor. Very true. And Matthias, we were just talking about him, abbot of Curacao before Gernot. And once again, I still don't know if it's Gernot or Gernot or whatever. Widely respected by the monks and nuns, as well as the people of Tossing, known for his kindness and his love of books. Yeah, everyone liked Matthias. Wow. Dance of Death, huh? You got your priests, your nobility, warriors, peasants, yeah, everybody. Wow, that's a great piece of art, I have to say. Large garden. We're really taking the long way to the scriptorium. Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness. So much to see and do. We've got our crops growing here. I wonder what recipes the brothers have for peas. I have no idea. These cucumbers are growing quickly. I'm sure whatever isn't eaten will be pickled. Yeah, that's right. I mean, remember, this is an era before refrigeration, right? Now, what that means is that you either need to eat things immediately, or you need to find another way of preserving them. Now, oftentimes, things would be preserved. But if you're talking meat, you might dry out the meat. You might rub it in salt. One of the reasons salt was so important is because it's a good preservative. But with a lot of vegetables and other types of food, you might pickle them. That's another way of preserving things over a long period of time. Abbey House. Oh, Ferenc. We've heard plenty about him. God bless you. Et Mirabilis. Mirabile. Good dog. Oh, Gurno. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is the big boss man. I always gotta pet the dog. Andreas. Okay, he's got nothing to say. Good. I was almost wondering whether we should talk to him or not. Let's pet the dog one more time. I was like, I wonder if Gurno's gonna be like, get back to work, you lazy bastard. Because that's what he told us the last time we spoke. You always gotta pet the dog, folks. Always gotta pet the dog. Anyway. Yeah, I'm trying to get a real sense. Okay, interesting. I think... Yeah, okay. Let's take a look at the courtyard. Oh, very pleasant. I gotta say, I mean, I think it'd be lovely to spend time at an old abbey like this. You know, I am not particularly religious myself, but whenever I see old churches or abbeys or monasteries, they're always very beautiful to me. And the art in this game's incredible. It makes me want to, you know, go pick out a book, go find the nearest abbey, which I don't think I have one nearby, and go and sit down and read, you know what I mean? It seems like a really lovely environment. Hey, the Last Supper. When the brothers eat their meals, this is where the lector reads to them. Right. We've got our mess hall, essentially. Let's see the kitchen. I'm looking at all the equipment over here. You've got your bellows up there. You've got a big fire going. your different pots and pans. You know, I know at least in... Oh, you got your gridiron here for cooking? Yeah. I know at least in colonial America, which we're talking about a while after this, they had a type of pot called the spider pot, which is sort of imagine a pot with a long handle like this, except that's more of a pan, it's flat. We're talking a pot, which has legs on the bottom. So you could literally stand it up, and what you do is you would put whatever you were cooking in there, especially if you're cooking something over a long period of time, and then you would stand up the pot, say right here next to the fire, and so it's got the long handle, so you can... The reason the long handle is important is so that you can grab it without burning yourself, because it's all metal, right? So you don't want to burn yourself when you grab it, and since you can stand the pot up, you can just stand it next to the fire, which lets you cook something slowly without too much intensity over a long period of time without having to set anything up. Anyway, forget my, my old-timey cooking knowledge. Who do we have here? Lucas. Hello, Andreas. How goes it in the kitchen? His brother... Oh no, this is like a very Polish name. It looks like... Now, to my English-speaking mind, it looks like Wojslav, but it's probably like Wojslav or something like that. Is he working you hard? Not too bad. Brother Wojslaw is nice to me. Would be Wojslaw. No idea. Look, once again, my pronunciation is not going to be good, so go easy on me. But if you ever want to correct me nicely, you can do it in the comments. I'm open to that. It's Father Abbott and Brother Pryor who make things hard. How so? I shouldn't complain. They just like their food a certain way, and I'm not that good at cooking yet. I'm sure Brother Wojslaw will teach you well in time. Brother Adok? Whoa, he looks like a wizard straight up. Brother Adok complains about his food too, but he complains to Brother Wojslaw. What does Brother Adok know about food anyway? He's from Cornwall. Oh, interesting, he's English. I don't even know where that is. Oh, Lucas. It's a land to the west, across the sea, where all they eat is fish. That's funny. Hey, there might be someone Cornish watching this video. Is that an accurate description of Cornwall? It sounds miserable. Ah, they're really dunking on England, huh? It sounds miserable. That's always what he complains about, the fish. He just likes to complain, I think. Don't lose heart, Brother Lucas. You're still learning. Thanks. See you later, Andreas. Yeah, Lucas seems like a younger member of the order. Until later. Seems like a pleasant fellow. Ooh, the cellar. You're always like, Andreas, what are you doing, man? You've been running around the Abbey. You're down in the cellar. You're in the kitchen. Like, come on, man. Oh, hey, there's Wojslav. Or something like that. Or Wojslaw. I don't know. Morning, Andreas. How's living with the Gertners? I mean, they seem pretty nice. Oh, interesting. I could be a real dick about it. It's a room in a peasant home. We get along well enough. Well, Peter can be a thorny one, but maybe he's nicer to the townsfolk than he is to us from the Abbey. Yeah, Peter... He seemed a little grumpy, but, you know, we talked to his son and his wife, and they were nice. I think he does have a sore spot, but I don't want to rat him out, so I'll say it's about the same. Oh, may God in time dull his edge for the benefit of us all. Anyway, if I don't see you around the Abbey later, maybe I'll see you in Tassing tomorrow. Till then, brother. This is such a fascinating game setting. I really love that, you know, this is the setting we have here. It's very cool, I have to say. Maybe we'll go back out to the garden here. Now, once again, I don't know, I don't know if this is the best way to play the game. Like, I don't know how time-sensitive things are, right? I'm not a time-sensitive kind of guy. If you've seen my Disco Elysium playthrough, you know that. I'm, you know, I like to dilly and dally and explore. You know, I like to really take in everything. Let's see, we've got the animal pens out here. Volkbert. Good day, Andreas. Good day to you, Volkbert. Pigs and the chickens and the sheep. Abattoir, which is locked. Fair enough, okay. Let's take a look at the cemetery. It's a fairly sizable cemetery. And, you know, I think oftentimes when we think of cemeteries today, we think of big green cemeteries, which in some ways work both as parks and cemeteries, right? You can walk through them. Many goth teenagers like to hang out in cemeteries, and many other people as well. I find a good cemetery pretty fascinating, I gotta be honest. But that sort of cemetery, big green space cemetery, is really more of a modern invention, as in like 1800s onwards. Before that time, most cemeteries tended to be much smaller churchyards. Even this is a relatively large size one, but something like this, a churchyard connected to a church or an abbey or a monastery, this is where most people would have been buried at that time. It's only in the 1800s when both, you know, simply there's a lot more people, you've got a lot more people dying, especially in urban spaces, and so you need these big, massive cemeteries. You need to set aside a lot of space for them. Also, they served as green spaces in urban areas, and also it could be perhaps a little more secular than something like a churchyard. But up until relatively modern times, you'd mostly be talking about much smaller churchyards, or more sort of, you could say, impromptu methods of burial, I'll put it that way. A monument to the founder of the Abbey. Fairly recent. The funds were donated by her descendants. It's a pretty interesting memorial, I have to say. Looks a little spooky. Okay, so not much to see in the cemetery here. Got a tree in the back. The apple trees have only started to bloom. It will be months before they bear fruit. Oh man. I want some apples. An apple sounded pretty nice right about now, I gotta be honest. Okay. Let me see, I think we've gotten a good look at most of the stuff here. Yeah, we have actually. Dormitory. For all the abbots sleep and such. That leaves us back out to the church. And the Old Bailey. I think we gotta pass through the Old Bailey to get to the scriptorium, perhaps. Yeah, okay. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh my goodness. Oh, hey, there's a scriptorium. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, yes, I did. You guys know I'm going to the crypt in the tower. I want to do everything in case, I'm sure going to the scriptorium will lock us into, you know, the next story mission or whatever. The foundations of the Abbey were built when the Romans occupied this land, not long after the death of Christ. Interesting. Foundations of the Abbey. I mean, this is one of the things that you can see in any place where the architecture goes back a long way, especially in regions where there's been continuous settlement for a long time. So, like somewhere like Egypt, or in a city like Constantinople or Istanbul today, as you can see several layers of civilization just stacked on top of each other. You know, you'll see, well, the foundations were set in Roman times, and then it was settled by this people, and then rebuilt by this people. You know, you get a good look at that. I mentioned Constantinople because when you look at a lot of the architecture today, you've got sort of modern Turkish architecture on top, then with the Ottoman architecture right below, then some sort of more medieval Byzantine Greek architecture, then below that is the ancient Roman stuff, and you know, it's layers atop layers atop layers. And any city that goes back to ancient or even medieval times, you'll see a lot of stuff is stacked on top of each other. You know, I've been to castles in Scotland, for example, where, you know, they say, well, you know, the sort of modern castle you see was built maybe in the 1800s, maybe even during, you know, the United Kingdom under the British Empire, but it goes back to a castle or a building that was owned by a lord in Scotland, and then before that it was the Picts, and then all this type of stuff. And I love these different layers of civilization. I mean, you know, I'm more a historian who looks at textual sources. I don't do any digging myself, but shout out to anybody who does that sort of research, any of our archaeologists out there. It's fascinating stuff. These tomb markers go back centuries, all the way to the founding of the Abbey. Abbot Dietrich, from the height of Kyrsa's power in the 14th century. Those days have long passed. I mean, yeah, that's, you know, this game is set in the early 1500s, so it's been a while since then. Ooh. What do we have here? A lovely relief of the Virgin and Child. Shame it's hidden down here. Oh, what is happening? Oh my. One of these parts must move somehow. Okay. Oh, we got a puzzle. Guys, you gotta give me grace with puzzles, okay? My mind turns to soup whenever presented with the puzzle. Now what? Hello, wait a minute. What is going on here? A secret passageway? A secret entrance to the library. I'll have to remember this. Can I? Okay, I can't go. Okay. I can tell this is, whenever a character says, I'll remember this, or, you know, I can tell this is going to be useful later. So there's a secret passage to the library in the crypt. In fact, I'm going to write that down. Yes, I have physical notes in front of me, okay? I'm a nerd. I can't help myself. I love taking notes. Although, honestly, this is the type of game where they might take the notes for me. Maybe not. Anyway, they do take a lot of notes for you, which I appreciate. Alright. See, and this is why it's worth exploring. Let's go up to the tower next. Ooh, can I ring the bell? Probably not. It's wise not to give me that power. Wow. We've got the Alps in the background, right? Or are those the Alps? Maybe not. I forget exactly where we're located. Beautiful mountains, though. Okay, Old Bailey. I don't know what Old Bailey means in this context, but I will say there is, I'm pretty sure in London there's like a court called the Old Bailey, a pretty famous court that judged a lot of cases in London, especially in, I think, like this 1700s. That's known as the Old Bailey. In fact, they've got a pretty extensive database online where you can go through records of all those old cases and sort of read through transcripts from those cases. Very fascinating stuff. What is this? A Volvel? I don't know what that is. I've seen these before in astronomy and medical tracts. What's this one for? 2 wheels. The top wheel has Greek letters and holes cut out to reveal Latin letters underneath. At the outer edge, the lower wheel is broken into 4 sections, each bearing an elemental symbol. Okay, there we go. Is that our Latinist research? 24 holes, enough to cover all letters in the Greek and Latin alphabets. The quarter turn of the upper disc aligns a different elemental symbol with the top of the lower disc. And that reveals a different set of letters underneath. I wonder what it's for. A cipher of some sort. I believe so. I need to investigate more. This has to be connected to something else around here. Very interesting. Yeah, a cipher. Interesting. Well, I don't see anything at the moment. I mean, there's a scrap of paper on the desk, but I don't think I can click that. Maybe we'll find out later what that's for. Okay, finally, it's time to enter the scriptorium to do our damn job. We've dillied and dallied long enough, I must say. They're really expecting us now. All right, let's get on with it. This is Piero, I believe. We've heard much about. Oh, Adoc. Also, Edoc, maybe? Also works in the scriptorium. So I think we've heard the scriptorium. Well, we've heard scriptoriums generally have been disappearing. There's not as many as there used to be. And that's especially going to be the case as the printing press grows more popular. The few that remain will probably entirely disappear. And that this scriptorium used to be a bigger deal, but now is perhaps less so. Let's talk to Piero. Andreas, God bless you. So good to see you. Good morning, brother Piero. Good to see you as well. I don't like this weather. My bones ache. Means a storm is coming. I'm sure I might do more of a voice, but my throat hurts since I've been sick, so maybe not today. Big Jord Gertner says that if you live here 10 or 15 years, you can smell storms coming. We know Big Jord. We met him. He was a pleasant guy. Guy. Brother Adoc, or it might be Edoc. Brother Edoc has been here long enough. We can always smell him coming. Do not forget, Brother Guy, the fate of the youths who jeered the aged prophet Elijah outside of Bethel. Mauled by bears, weren't they? Oh yeah, I've heard this story. This is one of those Bible stories people like to bring up sometimes, where I don't know the story exactly, but I think, well, Edoc basically told us there. A bunch of youths jeered at this aged, I guess, prophet. I thought maybe it was something to do with him being bald. Maybe it was him being old. And they got mauled by bears, which apparently is biblical justice. Seems a little harsh for me, but, you know. She-bears. I gotta say, having my theology background is helping me out with the brothers here. Are you comparing yourself to a prophet, Brother Edoc? I am comparing you to an impudent youth whom the Lord in his ineffable wisdom may choose to strike down. Oh, interesting. We can side with Guy or Edoc. Or Adoc. Um... Huh. Calm yourself, Brother Edoc. You're too sensitive to guys' jokes. I am old Andreas. Every slight against me stings with the fire of 1,000 wasps. Shouldn't it be the opposite of that? Shouldn't you get more thick-skinned as you age, Edoc? I will pray to God for the strength to endure this wickedness. Well, everyone seems quite lively. I suppose that means Prior Ferenc is not overseeing us today. Oh, I saw him over there with Gernot. He was here, but he heard Lorenz Rothvogel had arrived, and he hurried out like a little mouse. Though we met Rothvogel last time. This Lord, who came by, and we chatted with him about our education and academia and such. And he was a pretty good conversation partner, I must be honest, but seems like he may have beef with the local residents, and I typically am not partial to lords, so we'll have to find out more about him. Ferenc is so desperate to impress the abbot, and nobles like Rothvogel. It's pathetic. Wow, guy really speaks his mind, huh? You feign kindness to Father Abbots and our prior, only to speak about them like this behind their backs. It's shameful. I mean, look, I gotta say, I prefer people being upfront, you know what I mean? I don't like speaking behind someone's back. But let's be honest, in a case like this, all that means is that you don't feel free to speak honestly in front of them. So your only, course of action is to speak like this behind their backs. And maybe some would say, if you'd have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, but come on. You must have all had annoying bosses over the years that, to their face, you had to be nice, but behind their backs, I think it's totally fair to, let your opinions be known to those who you can trust. Oh yeah, Rothvogel came from the manuscript. Oh no. Aaron Rothvogel, this manuscript. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I told him, oh yeah, the manuscript, it's probably ready. No need to worry, Piero's got it. He's a master of color, I think is what I told him. I just realized that he'll want to see his manuscript. How silly of me. Of course that's why he's visiting. Get to work, Piero. Perhaps if you were younger and faster, you wouldn't need to worry so much about patrons' visits. Okay, lay off a little bit, guy. But also, well, okay. I'm gonna say what's the problem. I'll say, though, I think I know the problem, which is the Baron. He's a client, but he's an important client, though they must have a lot of important clients here. I'll ask, I guess. What's the problem? The Baron's just one client. He'll have to wait like everybody else. Yeah. Andreas, Baron Rothvogel is not like anyone else. He has powerful friends, including the Prince Bishop of Freising, religious and secular ruler of scattered territories in the Holy Roman Empire, including the lands containing Tossing and Kearsarge Abbey. Oh, I see. So he is the Prince Bishop of the territory we are in right now. And, by the way, I mentioned this last time. We talked about the Holy Roman Empire, and how it was really a bunch of scattered territories, which this is an example of one, ruled by a whole collection of different types of leaders. Princes, bishops, sometimes both at once. So this guy is a Prince Bishop, which means he is both the religious and the secular ruler of the territory. And you'd say all different types of leaders throughout these territories. So Rothvogel's got powerful buddies. Oh, interesting. Kearsarge's already out of favor. I wonder why. Father Abbot does not want to have to deal with more attention. Well, if Prior Ferenc isn't here, I'm going to work on my masterpiece until he arrives. I want to see this masterpiece. right? I need to reference the Indermauer manuscript. Indermauer. Prominent family of the Swiss Confederacy and Austria. I'm not familiar. I gotta say, you know, once again, I mentioned this last time, I'm having a great time with this game, with the level of knowledge I have, but I imagine if you were really deep into medieval Central European history, which I'm not really, or really deep into the history of Christianity, you'd get even more out of this game, which is very cool. I like that a lot. And we've got the Swiss Confederacy. Confederacy is the key word, a sort of confederation of cantons that are related but largely run their own affairs. Zdenna, or just Denna, or Zena? I don't know. The Z and the D together is confusing me. Seems Polish again. What do you want, Andreas? A book. The Indermauer manuscript. The Book of Hours. Oh, right. And we, oh, I see. We learned about this last time, the Book of Hours. Let me just refamiliarize myself. Prayers for the divine office to other religious texts. Right, wealthy patrons commission lavish examples, so prominent family who must have commissioned a lavish version of the Book of Hours. Got it. Your hair looks messy today. Did you get enough sleep? What do you mean? I mean, did you sleep alone, or... Why do you want to know? Oh my goodness! She is... Whoa! She's freaky! It'd be nice to have something to think about during divine reading. Oh my goodness. Lectio Divina is the thoughtful reading of and meditation on scripture. The practice leads to prayer and contemplation. It is a daily part of life in Benedictine communities. Girl, relax. Can I just get the book? Ugh, it's all the way upstairs. Can you get by without it? I mean, seems like it is your job, but I'll be nice. Like, I'm sorry, but I really can't. I need to reference it for my work. Really? My feet hurt and the stairs are so steep. I'm gonna ask Illuminata to get it. I'll have to check into my glossary after this, or our people, because we heard about some of these people last time. Sister Illuminata! Andreas needs help finding a book, and I don't know where it is. Yes, you do. Andreas? Second try. Sister Illuminata, I'd like to borrow the Indermauer manuscript, the Book of Hours. Yes, I overheard. Here, please return it promptly. Ooh, it's the first time we've seen a blue highlight. Maybe it's quest-related. Where are you going, Piero? Andreas, may I see how your masterpiece is coming? Yeah, I want to see too. Of course, your opinion is always welcome. Whoa. Yes, the composition is lovely. There's a joyful spirit in your arrangement of the figures. Let me see this. I'm gonna lean into my computer. Oh, wow. So we've got, like, a hunting scene of some sort? Or foraging or something? Huh. I'm curious to hear more about it. It's very beautiful, what's been done so far. Contrast of colors is also quite nice. Rich and beautiful on their own, but not overpowering the scene. Oh, interesting. So Andreas is not entirely satisfied. Now we learned that he's making this. I mean, he said, like, okay, maybe in part it's sort of to attract clients, but it's more a personal project for him, right? This is something he really feels he needs to do. And we also learned last time that Andreas, he's someone who's done a bit of wandering through his life. He's maybe a bit older than most who are at this point in their career. He went to university, he's done some traveling, so clearly someone who's dedicated to sort of his own self-actualization, so this is important to him. Yeah, it doesn't feel right, I don't know why. Oh, interesting. It's an excellent interpretation of someone else's work. What do you mean? It's all my work. My son, you're copying the illustration from the Indermar manuscript almost exactly. So what's wrong with that? Haven't I improved on it? Piero's coming with the wisdom here, because this is what I'd say as well. Aesthetically, yes, it's wonderful, but I feel you've not given much thought to what it represents. That's fascinating. So Andreas, aesthetically, yes, he's made some improvements, but maybe he hasn't quite engaged with the meaning of the piece, and so perhaps doesn't quite understand what he is putting together, which is why it doesn't feel quite right. It's November. In November, we show peasants leading the pigs into the forest to forage on acorns before the slaughter. Andreas, the peasants here are no longer allowed to forage acorns in the forest. Many great lords and abbots across the empire have forbidden it, even Father Gernot. Well, what difference does it make? This is the way November is painted. Oh, this is fascinating. A couple of things. One, the point Piero is making is that, like, the essential truth of this piece of art, it's no longer truth, or it's a truth that once existed that no longer does, right? You need to find the truth or the meaning at the heart, at your heart, so you can express it in the form of art. That's what I think, at least. And also, it's interesting, he's talking about this transition. Now, it's not exactly sort of enclosures, but what happens as we move from the medieval era to the modern era, or even the early modern era, is you see a lot of territory that once would have been either owned by no one, or either sort of commonly owned by the people, where people could go and forage, and, lead their animals out to pasture and whatever, will be enclosed and, owned by landowners, lords. The best known example of this is over in Britain, in England, and Scotland in particular, where I think more in the sort of 1700s, around that time, maybe even afterwards, a lot of common land is enclosed for, really for sort of making profit, and sort of transition to capitalism and agriculture. But even here, this is a bit of a different process perhaps, but we see a lot of territory that once was open to be used, now is being, maybe it was owned by the lords before, maybe not, but they're either now taking it in ownership, or they're taking land that they already owned and saying, nah, you can't use it for these common purposes anymore. So this is some fascinating stuff. Anyway, so Andreas is saying, well, here it is, but Piero says it's not the way November is right now. That's fascinating. Art is illusion, storytelling. In their most sublime form, these images illuminate a path to truth. He's right, I agree with him. It's most important to me that my clients are happy. They won't pay me for truth. Okay, come on, Andreas. I know you're more of an artist than that. Yes, but with God's grace, this book of ours will outlive us all. What will you say to those who see it in a future generation, centuries beyond our comprehension? That's us. Some will gaze deep in your lines and paint to seek a deeper meaning. What will they find? He's right. He's right. That's what we do. We look into the art of the past, just like we look into books and texts written in the past, and we try to find a deeper meaning. And for the greatest artists, oftentimes there is that meaning. And of course, Piero knows this because that's what they did as well. the monks here, they have looked into the art of their past, right? The ancient past or the near past, and they found meaning in it. So they know that people will look into what they're making and find meaning in it. Just as we today know that the things we make, you know, whatever it is, people will look at these pieces of work in the future and try to find meaning in them. Always be cognizant of that. And I think a lot of the best writers or artists or whomever have an eye towards the future, and they know that, you know, and which perhaps might be why a lot of great artists are not recognized during their lifetime, only are recognized after their death. Oh, sorry, he was saying he's just the opinions of an old monk. There's no place for the monastic scriptoria anymore. In truth, this room is a place out of time, which we heard about last time. I'd like to know both, but more. Why is that? Why has Kearsarge kept this up for so long? Some people, some places, have a difficult time letting go of the past. I'm not among them. The creation of books, of art, is no longer the province of monasteries. So be it. More people will be able to write, more will be able to read, and in so doing, be brought to truth. Hey man, you're sounding like a Protestant. Watch out. So, after we talked to Rothko the last time about this, he actually directly asked us about Martin Luther, right? Now, I know you might be saying, well, this doesn't seem like it's related to Martin Luther in any way, but a big part of the Reformation was the mass printing of texts, particularly through the printing press, and people being able to read, well, anything, but even being able to read the Bible, which many people couldn't do if they didn't know Latin before. Now the Bible was being printed in a bunch of different languages and vernacular languages. So a lot of Catholics, a lot of people within the Catholic hierarchy, the church hierarchy in particular, they felt this way. They worried there was a danger in people being able to read anything, being able to write anything. So we need to decide where Andreas is coming from. Oh man, I wonder if I'm going to be asked, like, to really make a determination, like, to really stake a claim on where I stand ideologically. That'd be interesting. So far, I've played Andreas as someone who is sort of, I mean, he's a theologian, he's very interested in Latin and Christianity and the church, but I played him as someone who's relatively open to hearing about pagan ideas, open to hearing about Martin Luther, all these types of things, but maybe I'll be asked to, you know, choose a side. I'm gonna say this, though. I think there will always be a place for artists like you and Brother Edok. Oh, sorry, Guy. And Brother Guy. To be remembered. Guy, I'm on your side, buddy. Kind of you to say so, Andreas, but you need not be concerned for me. I've lived a long life, and I'm happy to have served the Lord. When he calls for me, I am ready. Look at Enoch go. Ah, where's the time gone? It is already... Terse? Terse? Monastic hour corresponding to 9 a.m. One of the little hours of prayer. Terse precedes Mass in the chapter meeting. Okay. Too much talk. I must ask forgiveness for not honoring the rule we heard about last time. Yeah, the rule of Saint Benedict of Nursia. So the rule, he's talking about all the rules, basically the principles by which they must live. Until later, Andreas. Until later. But of course, I am not a monk. I'm an independent contractor. An artist brought in. Nope. Nice time to spill your ink, Andreas. Oh, well, we saw that earlier. What the hell are you doing, buddy? What's going on in here? Well, well, well. Andreas, what was that noise? Ah, sorry, Sister Illuminata. I knocked a bowl of paint to the floor. But then Prior Ferenc came in, wrote in one of his books, slammed it closed, and left. He was in such a hurry, I don't think he even noticed me. Slamming books shut? Prior Ferenc should know better than that. Some of these manuscripts are quite delicate. I fully agree, it's my bookworm trait. Delicate or not, all books should be treated with the utmost care. Many contain precious wisdom that can aid even the unenlightened in growing closer to God. They should be protected and cared for. Which is why books should not be taken out of the library unless it is necessary for divine reading or work in the scriptorium. Chronica Clara. The Clear Chronicle, a history of the universe from creation to 1082, written by the Irish monk Marianus Scotus. Are you still mad at me for borrowing the Chronica Clara? No, anger is not an appropriate response for a nun. But the fact remains that you tricked me into giving you that book for no valid reason. Not valid? Is it not valid to want to see the work of one of the great Irish scribes? One who wrote masterworks that even now grace libraries at Cologne, Fulda, and Mainz? This is what I would say. I'd be like, come on, is it not legitimate to want to see the book? I'm curious. Mainz, located on the Rhine River, Mainz is the home of the Archbishop of Mainz, an elector of the Holy Roman Empire, and Primus Germani, the Pope's substitute north of the Alps. Oh, okay. And then Cologne, which we've all probably heard of, a large, powerful, free imperial city on the River Rhine. It's a, free imperial city. Probably heard that before. You see some of those in the Holy Roman Empire. It's a major hub for commerce between Italy and the Netherlands. It is also a popular site for pilgrims, as its cathedral contains relics of the three wise men, represented as crowns on their arms. No, it is not. Not unless it pertains to your work or the abbot permits it. Now, if you'll excuse me... Wait, what's all this fuss about Lorenz Rothvogel? Why is Prior Ferenc so nervous? Lorenz? I didn't know you were familiar enough with the man to use his Christian name. Yeah, we're kind of buddies. Anyway, I haven't dealt with him personally, but the Prior and Father Abbot have. I only know that he's purchased a number of our most valuable manuscripts over the years, so a big-time patron. And he paid enough to help the Abbey when we needed it. Like what? What did he buy? I can't remember. You know, I have my own responsibilities to attend to. Now, how about this, Andreas? If you help me recover some missing books, I'll tell you what I know about the Baron. Alright. Yeah, hey, you can't... You give me a side quest, I'm probably gonna take it. Thank you. It's for the good of the Abbey. Where should I begin? Out there, where you and your cohort have carelessly strewn books around the scriptorium. I'll tell you what books I'm looking for, find them, and return them. The first book are 2 volumes of the Aeneid. Oh, well, we all know that. Which sort of shows you that, and I mean, I think we saw this essentially, that of course, these abbeys and monasteries were not only maintaining works of a religious nature, of course, they were also maintaining a lot of works of classical literature. And in fact, you know, look, the classical world, as in the ancient times, up until, say, the 1700s, that's a long period of time. You know, depending on how far back you go, you're talking about thousands of years. That's a long time for any book to survive. And we really owe it to many monasteries and abbeys they're the only reason that a lot of different, very famous books survive today. It's also true for a lot of Muslim scholars in the Middle East. Really, religious scholars, both in Europe and beyond, are the reason that many famous works of literature and philosophy survive today. So the Aeneid, poetic epic telling, the legend of Aeneas, a heroic Trojan who struggles to reconcile his personal desires with his destiny to found Rome, written in the 1st century BC by the Roman poet Virgil. Reddish covers, 14 inches by 10 inches, 3 inches thick. Oh, interesting. Innsbruck inches or Nuremberg inches? What? Nuremberg inches are What colors are the covers again? Reddish. Oh, I know. They're among Piero's favorites. He keeps them by my desk. They are not his to keep. Yeah, don't be so much of a nerd, Andreas. I wonder if I can, No? Okay. I was gonna take a look at that book that Ferenc wrote in, but I guess Andreas is not as devious as I. Oh, wow. I love the art in this game. I will say I've not read the Aeneid myself, so I'm not that familiar. I mean, aside from just knowing the book generally. There's a fair amount of wear on these, I hope you don't mind. These volumes were old even when Piero started to make the copies. How long ago was that? 3 years. The Aeneid is not one of my favorite stories, but I understand why it appeals to Piero. Oh, this is fun. Aeneas chose his duty to the gods over his lover, Dido. Oh, how exciting. This is so cool. This game is really awesome. Yeah, wow. Italium non sponte sequor. No idea what that means. I do not go to Italy willingly. I did not take you for a scholar of Roman poetry, Andreas. The words sit easily in my memory. I'm not sure why. Probably out of love rather than duty. Do you think Aeneas' sense of duty appeals to Piero? We all have our vocations. Brother Piero takes his more seriously than most of the others in this abbey. You clearly take your chosen vocation seriously, sister. Andreas, I didn't have a choice in my vocation. Few women do. What's this? Is it really that bad? Is being a woman that limiting? Okay, Andreas, let's see where this goes. I mean, look. We come from this from a modern perspective, so it's hard for me to choose the first one. Let's go with Beatrice. How would you know? That's true. She knows her life better than I do. So I won't go with the first one. I guess I'll say, you know, that's true, but it doesn't mean women can't take pride in their vocations. In the City of Ladies, Christine de Pizan defended women of all classes by showing their value to society. I mean, look, you know, Andreas, I don't want to play him too out of the era. Obviously, this is an era that is greatly patriarchal and misogynistic, but it doesn't mean that an individual man couldn't recognize the value of a particular woman, or women generally, right? Even if, you know, generally men may have seen women in only limited roles in society. Christine de Pizan, one of the most renowned female authors of Western Europe, Christine was a court writer for 3 dukes. She's well known for the Book of the City of Ladies and the Treasure of the City of Ladies, works that defended women and offered advice to women of all backgrounds. Interesting. An admirable effort, but even if we do exactly as we are told, we are portrayed as vehicles of sin. Hey. Temptresses and seducers by virtue of our sex, even when men are the aggressors. Even in the Abbey, we must travel in pairs, lest we tempt the brothers or others. Yeah, that's true. And I mean, she says for a lot of women, it was not their choice to come here. That's true, right? A lot of women were brought to work in a monastery or an abbey, not for great reasons, right? Because they have been through things in their own lives, and this is one of the few ways out for them. And here in these pages, Virgil cast Dido as Aeneas' seducer, though it was the gods that thrust her into his arms. Like Dido, we ordinary women are merely tools in the tales of men. We can never be the protagonists of our own stories. No woman is exempt from that, from the empress to a nun. It is our lot. I suppose I understand now why you're not fond of the Aeneid. It's fine poetry, for men. Now, the books, if you please. That was a very interesting conversation. I like that. You know, like I said, I know I can imagine some gamers getting annoyed that they're like, oh, this is, you know, why are you bringing these themes into the game? But, you know, what I'll say, I don't think people like that. What I'm going to say is that a lot of the themes we struggle with today and the topics we struggle with today, people have struggled with throughout history. They just approach them from different angles. You know what I mean? So I think that was a really excellent way of approaching the topic of being a woman in medieval times through this sort of parlance and the understanding of the time. So I quite like that. Anyway, let me stop trying to defend the game from, you know, imaginary people I have in my head. Thank you. Next, Wretched Wherein. This is a printed copy, green cover, diamond pattern. Wretched Garin, an Italic chivalric romance written by Andrea de Barberino in the early 15th century. See, and this is where, like I said, I'm not an expert on the era, this is where my knowledge fails me. But it's fascinating to learn. The titular character rises from impoverished origins to go on heroic adventures and discover his noble parentage. Originally published as a manuscript, and enjoyed greater success as a printed book. Interesting. I do not have the size in the ledger, but hopefully the description is enough. I know the one you're talking about. Brother Edoc was reading it. Oh, Brother Edoc. There we go. Oh, great. Do we get to go through all of the different books we've got here? That's going to be a lot of fun. The beauty of this book truly belies its ridiculous content. I'm surprised the Abbey owns a copy. We don't. It belongs to Amadea Rusco of Lugano. It's a Venetian edition that's quite valuable. Oh wait, I read that totally wrong. No, Lugano. Okay, there we go. Lugano, highly contested Swiss market town located in the southwestern Alps. The Dukes of Como and Milan fought for control over it until it was claimed by the Swiss Confederation in 1513, which is quite recently. I believe the year is 1518 in the game right now. He loaned it to us 5 years ago. It was subsequently lost, and the abbot has received 3 letters about it. I've certainly seen the brothers enjoying it. That book is not appropriate reading for Benedictine monks. A baby is sold to pirates, raised a servant, then lives a life of adventure, winning princesses and fighting in tournaments. You forgot the best part. In the end, Guerin learns he has royal blood, the son of a duke. He reigns as a king and dies a pious hermit. What's not to love? Benedictines should be dreaming of reconciliation with our Lord, not lusty adventures. That's funny. Redemption will still be waiting for them when they put down the book. Yes, always, but they still must choose redemption. Should we go on sinning so grace will increase? Of course not. Fantasy leads to temptation. Temptation has led to the downfall of many men and women. So, you can see here that she's presenting us a particular perspective on this, right? That these types of lusty tales are not to be read by the likes of the monks here at the Abbey. It's not appropriate. It leads to temptation, which can lead to downfall and sin. But, as Andreas just said, many of the brothers read these books. And we can clearly tell that, though they live by the rule, right, the principles of their order, and of course they're all within this Catholic hierarchy, there are different perspectives depending on which abbot or which monk you ask or which sister you talk to. Sometimes, yes, but books like this, it's all the same type of fantasy, isn't it? To die better than we are born. And what's the problem with that? Why shouldn't a peasant dream of being a king? Whoa! Andreas, getting a little revolutionary there. There is neither Jew nor Greek, neither slave nor free, neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Oh, interesting. Huh. Oh, wow. So, we can... Interesting. So, we can reference the text, but in two different ways. Paul's words can be hard to recall when you're suffering because of your station in life. That is exactly when his words are most needed. But the book, Andreas, we must return it. Or would you like the abbot to receive a fourth letter? I understand. I'd hate to loan a book and never get it back. It would be like losing a limb. Okay, relax. Well, perhaps a small limb, or my little finger. But regardless of the size and importance of the body part in question, I understand and appreciate it. It's not my goal to deprive the brothers of their joy, but to return Amadea Rusco's property. The book, please. Fair enough, fair enough. I'm not sure the brothers will be pleased with me, but I'll do it for you, Illuminata. There's only one book left, then you will be freed from bondage. A dark red cover, 8 inches high, 5 inches across, 2 inches thick. Dark red cover. I always want to have more information. What is it? Description should be sufficient. Very well. You don't want to tell me what it is, huh? Dark red cover. And now that I think about it, Guy has always been guarded about this book. Like he was hiding it. What are you up to, brother Guy? What is this? Very good. Please bring it here. What is this, anyway? Yeah, take a look at it, Andreas. Ah, maybe I should have learned French at some point. God damn it. So, hey, that was... I like that because we chose our, option of our background, and I chose Italy, and there were other options that would have given me a bit of French. What is this? Why are you asking so many questions? Just give it to me. I'm sorry, but I just love books too much to let this go without knowing what it is. Curiosity can be a dangerous thing, Andreas, especially in a place like this. 3 French bishops condemned the book. All copies were to be burned. Its author shared the same fate. Oh my. What? Why? I don't know, Andreas. It isn't my place to question the judgment of one bishop, much less 3. And before you ask, no, I haven't read it, but I know it contains a dialogue between love and reason. I like the different coloring. I don't... This isn't ringing any bells for me. I mean, medieval literature is not my field, but maybe... I mean, I don't know if I want you to tell me or not tell me, but maybe some of you watching this are going, oh, I know what book this is. I don't. This book is dangerous. When did the bishops condemn it? Love the abstract depictions here. 200 years ago. Wow, a long while ago. In the 1300s. What? Why? Why is it still here? Because Father Matthias loved books. All books. He didn't want to see it destroyed. Right, so once again, as I said, you see different opinions based on whoever you're talking to, right? You know, the church has a pretty strict hierarchy, but not everyone always follows all the rules. So you have some examples like Father Matthias here, who was a real lover of books, as often people in these monasteries were. And so even when a book was condemned, he kept it, right? So interesting. I mean, I agree with this, but I don't know if I want to say that out loud. Sounds reckless. I would not say I knew the abbot well, but I would not say he was reckless. He believed he was doing the right thing, and he was confident inquisitors would never look through Kearsaw's library. It's not my place to question the former abbot's decision, but when Father Gurnot learned it was in our possession, he wanted it destroyed. Must the book be destroyed? No one even knows it's here. I do. So do Mother Cecilia and Father Gurnot. Oh man. This is tough. I mean... Oh, it's tough. It really pains me to give a book to be destroyed, but I just... Look, I'll put it this way, if it wasn't Illuminata, maybe I'd try and wriggle my way out of this, but she doesn't seem like the type who's going to, work with me on this. I'm pretty sure I'd get in trouble, so take it. Good, it's for the best. I don't think it is, but I really don't want to, you know, mess up my position here, to be honest with you. Okay, what do I do now? Now then, Aaron Rothvogel. Quickly though, I need to finish up here soon. Oh. You may only have time to answer one question, so I should choose carefully. Okay, I'm most curious about 3 and 4. I'm not sure... Okay, the issue with this question is if I know I'd get a good answer, I'd ask it, but I'm not sure if she would really know why. I'm gonna go with this, because I'm curious about the town. He mentioned finding a copy of Historia Tassii. He said it had some scandalous details in it. He also mentioned that Father Matthias had a copy and was looking for another to verify its contents. Do you know anything about the book? I've heard of it, but I never read it, and I know little about its contents. The subject is broad, but I believe the book deals specifically with the Roman occupation of this land. What could have upset Father Matthias so much? I can't claim any deep insights into the former abbot's mind. I understood him to be a virtuous and charitable man, sometimes to a fault. It's not always best when an abbot considers himself a friend to his brothers instead of their shepherd. I don't know. I mean, Matthias seems pretty well liked around here. Do you prefer Gurnot to Matthias? Yeah, I didn't think she'd answer that. My vocation requires me to obey. My preferences are irrelevant. But every child would choose that their parents err towards love. Yeah, okay. To err towards love is to stumble at the feet of God. I understand. Well, I must be off to Mass. Thank you again for your help, Andreas. Funny. Oh, interesting. Smile devilishly. What are you smiling about? Oh, do I want to tell her I know? No, I don't. I will keep this to myself. You know, if you have valuable information, wait until it's most useful to use it. You know what I mean? I'm filled with the joy of books. You're a strange man. Good day, Andreas. God be with you. You don't want to share all your secrets, just at the drop of a hat. That's the bell for sext. Monastic hour corresponding to noon. One of the little hours of prayer followed by dinner. Sext, I would have thought, like 6. I should see if Otto's around and still wants to eat with me. I think he's working by the guest house below the Abbey. Okay, interesting. We have that in our little journal here. Perfect. So we know about the little passage, but I shan't... Oh. Oh my. What do we have here? From the library of the University of Five Churches. The Hungarians call it Pesh, I don't know. It's where Ferenc is from. Doctor of Theology Gorg of Gran. Friend of his? Oh. The Speculum Astronomiae. Albert Magnus's defense of astrology. Albertus Magnus. Renowned 13th century Dominican theologian, philosopher, astrologer, and bishop of Regensburg. A prolific writer, he was known primarily for his work on Aristotle and his knowledge of natural science. Interesting. Bastard script. As in, what, not Latin? Or maybe not even not Latin, but one of the sort of vernaculars. Bastard script. Burgundian? Flemish? Not from here, and not recently. Whoa, what is going on? Ferenc, what are you doing, you sneaky, sneaky man? It's definitely Ferenc's handwriting between the lines and the margins. I have no idea. Is he notating the text for his personal use? In any case, it's a thorough commentary. Yeah, it really is. What is he doing? What is this? It looks so scribbled. Not like Ferenc to be so sloppy, and they didn't even blot the ink dry. Libra, Capricorn, Aries, all astrological symbols. What's written below? So, great, I don't know Greek either. Or, I know a little bit of Greek, right? Yeah. No, that's one of the things I do know. So I remember we studied in Italy, which means we know Italian and a bit of Greek. Greek, to be sure. Ospagogexu? Doesn't make any sense. That's not even a word, just a jumble of letters. This must be some kind of cipher. What's the key? We know the key. Wait, the Volvel I found also has Greek letters on it. It must be connected, but how? The outer ring of the Volvel is marked with alchemical symbols. This cipher has astrological symbols. There's something I'm missing. Suppose I'll figure it out in due time. But I'll copy this down to reference later. Very wise. Very wise, Andreas. Very good. I wonder what Ferenc is up to. Fascinating stuff. All right, well, we're going to end this episode now. This actually went a little longer than I expected, given my voice is wavering a bit, but I was having such a good time. I find this game absolutely fascinating. I'm really enjoying it. I hope you guys are as well. Seems like you are, from the comments down below. If you are, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and I always love reading through people's comments. That's one of the most fun parts about filming these videos. So thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today, and I will see you all again next time. Goodbye.